You know what the Roblox community is obsessed with? Lore, myths, ARGs, game lore, and Roblox experiences like Pressure, Deepwoken. Even in games you might not expect to see lore in like Regretivator or even fighting. If you dig deep enough, you will find it. However, this obsession with Roblox stories isn't just linked to the games. As we've covered before, there's a plethora of Roblox movies and short film animations all over YouTube with their own rich lore. Some more than others. But nothing compares to the largest scale, most hidden Roblox narrative of all time. Stretching across multiple Roblox animated short films, Roblox games, and even a full off-platform video game release. A full-length Game Boy Color release, but a full-length video game nonetheless. And would you be surprised to learn, I, Piggo Roblox, am the mastermind behind this story. One so multiversal, it could make Marvel jealous.
I have to break your neck.
A story that, despite spending the last year making Roblox analysis and gaming videos, still haunts me to this day. For I am still working on this story in the form of a reboot to it. A random Baseplate reboot, a Roblox animated series I've been working on for 4 years now. Oops. But I will be finishing this project. It's my #1 goal in life. I need to see the day I premiere all 3 episodes edited into a feature-length film at my local cinema, with my friends and fans from around the world coming here to watch. If you think that sounds unrealistic, you don't know the Piggo fandom. So today, in this long-awaited video, we delve into the Piggo lore. Okay, intro complete. Now I just have to add it onto the start of the video, and we should be golden. Aaron? Is that you sneaking into my studio again? Oh, for fuck's sake, it's the energy bill! Budget really hit rock bottom when the voice chat video underperformed. What? Listen, I'm not sure what this is about. If I've pissed you off with one of my Roblox opinions...
Piggo, relax. We're not gonna hurt you.
Look, I don't know who the fuck you people are.
You may not know us, but we definitely know you.
Excuse me?
We know everything about you, Piggo.
Who are you people?
That's not our place to say.
Hey, where are you guys going? Come back! Oh shit.
It's been a long time.
Piggo Roblox.
Mansurf! Wait, so that means you're all my biggest fans?
Correct.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then prove it! Holy fuck, you guys are the real deal. But if you like me so much, then why'd you kidnap me?
We're gonna play something for you, Piggo. A highlight reel.
A what?
A highlight reel of your broken promises.
A random Baseplate. A random Baseplate. A random Baseplate. And I'm working on this film at the moment, so... A random Baseplate. I've been working on a feature-length Roblox film. A random Baseplate. A random Baseplate reboot. What? A random Baseplate? I'm still working on it. These things take time.
It's been too long! You promised us!
We've been waiting for 4 years now!
Without a random base plate, we are nothing. You did this to us, Piggo.
That's the purpose of this little intervention.
Come on, guys. I've gone above and beyond to deliver a high standard of content this year, and it shows. If you can't appreciate that, then how could you call yourselves my biggest fans?
Your content has been a step up.
You've clearly mastered your quality.
It pains us to admit the videos are thoroughly entertaining.
But it's not good enough.
Not good enough? You know what? Fuck you guys! If you're so against my current content, what is it you like about me?
The Piggo lore.
Oh my god. You guys are serious? You know, my next video is actually gonna be a retrospective on all my short films.
No kidding?
Yeah, I'm for real. The video's already practically done. It's all there on that convenient USB drive you took from me earlier. So, where should we begin? Well, let's go all the way back to the very first animation I ever put out on the channel.
Wait. Take Swatty back to Roblox!
Okay, not that early. Back in 2020, I did videos on a little game known as A Bizarre Day, and I developed a little bit of popularity from these videos. Not much in comparison to now, but at the time, my first video on A Bizarre Day managed to get over 10,000 views. That was a huge accomplishment. That same video pushed me to 300 subscribers, so I thought it would be cute to do a little callback to my 200 subscriber special for 300. You see, at 200 subscribers, I made this.
Wait, why am I in this random baseplate with a computer?
In this special, my avatar at the time checks YouTube and learns he hit the astonishing milestone of
200 subscribers.
And then this video ends with a friendly warning from his pet penguin Puffy. But at 500, this is where things got wild. Around the time I was approaching 500 subscribers, my good friend Solnug shared a little test animation with me as a pitch for my 500 subscriber special. And this animation, this seemingly insignificant animation Solnug threw together for fun, sparked a fire inside of me. Seeing my avatar animated to any extent was groundbreaking, and I ran with the idea. I suggested we take what he had made and connect it to the original subscriber specials, turning them into one sprawling narrative. One I couldn't have possibly begun to comprehend when putting this first part together. So, a random Baseplate 3, the 500 subscriber special. What happens in it? Well, it starts with a flashback to my 300 subscriber special, and then we follow the flashback into another flashback to my 200 subscriber special. Right, so we're acquainted with the fact this stupid kid and some bald twat are the same guy and they both do YouTube. Great, we have the same understanding. After that, we cut to this. What the fuck happened? Right, so we're in a destroyed future. That's nice. We see some army guys fire off screen. Cause nothing screams apocalypse more than the US military. From there, we cut inside the facility, and hey, wouldn't you know it, it's the bald guy! Also known as Broski, even though his name isn't stated until the final part of a random baseplate. Anyway, he's yammering on about blaming himself for the state of the world. I wonder how he's connected to it. He sets some machine to the 17th of August 2017 and takes a step inside of it, disappearing. And when we fade back to him, he's in some stock generic Roblox green field, with what can only be presumed to be a broken time machine left behind him. We're in the past now, and while we're here, Broski spots his old penguin chum, Puffy. And oh man, this guy is pissed! Seems he has some beef with Puffy, but before he can get it settled, his past self comes in and wallops him over the head with a frying pan. And thus concludes the 500 subscriber special. What can I say? Really, not that much. I mean, nearly half of it is flashbacks and a heartfelt message at the end. But it did something great. It established the foundation for us to build a story upon. And that foundation gets built upon in...
Oh man, this was my favorite.
It has one of the most iconic Piggo moments of all time.
So, before jumping into the continuation, let's address what was happening in the real world. Less than a month after dropping my 500 subscriber special, we arrived at 1,000 subscribers. This was huge! And to coincide with this feat, I released a Random Baseplate 4 Part 1. A mouthful of a title, I'm aware. But this is where things got real. This part starts with flashbacks to catch us up to speed, and then... bondage, apparently. Until a shadowy figure steps out of the darkness. It's Broski from the past! Now, back then he was always referred to as Mr. Piglover94 since that was the name of my channel at the time, but revisionist history has since named him Johnny, so we're gonna stick with that. Johnny wants to know what this guy wants with Puffy, as I put on the best impression of my past self I could.
Alright, spit it out. Who are you and what do you want with Puffy?
Now, you see, Broski tries warning Johnny about Puffy and how she apparently causes the downfall of humanity, but Johnny doesn't budge and Puffy activates a laser set to split Broski in half. This is when we learn if Johnny finds out Broski is himself from the future, apparently the fabric of reality will collapse. But something weird is going on with Broski. Since Johnny is himself, Broski's mind is constantly updating. He's remembering things that haven't even happened yet. Johnny doesn't realize it, but Broski is reliving his memories in real time. Maybe he can use this to help him escape. But not before a fire opening! I made this opening in a single sitting as far as I remember, and it's just a parody of the Evangelion opening. The thing is, I wasn't even sure how I wanted a random baseplate to play out while making this opening, so a few things pop up which hold barely any relevance. For example, this character. He pops up a few times and even gets a quick animated segment. Originally, an even younger version of Broski was meant to show up in the story. How the hell a 9-year-old is supposed to lend a hand to save the world though is beyond me. This opening also shows off a bunch of things which are only really related to my YouTube channel, and I'd say most of the quick references are ones only I would understand. Not quite sure what the thought process was there, but either way, we finished the immaculate intro, which takes up a quarter of the runtime and absolutely decimates our ears with an out-of-sync kazoo cover of the song to avoid copyright, and we're back with Broski. So, it turns out Broski now remembers on the underside of the chair there's a button installed which will set him free. How convenient. You know, it's never specified, but I kinda like the idea this implies Johnny here was actually heavily thinking about the button, which is how Broski remembered. I'd hope Johnny actually wanted Broski to escape, because otherwise he is genuinely a cold-blooded killer, just like his best penguin chum. Well, from there, Broski kicks the escape button and throws himself out the chair. You have to adore the Roblox Studio cursor on screen in this scene. Broski runs over to Johnny and gives him a taste of his own frying pan before nabbing Puffy and making his great escape in a van from one of my old animated story videos. Broski pulls back up to the park the time machine is in and has a little heart-to-heart with Puffy, explaining how he doesn't have it in him to kill her, so instead he's going to take her back to the future with him. The problem is the time machine is fucking thrash, so I guess they're gonna need to figure out a solution to that one. Meanwhile, Johnny wakes back up in the shed they were keeping Broski hostage in and finds a note Puffy left for him saying to activate Plan X. Johnny springs into action, he grabs his backpack and hops on a motorbike! Damn, this kid is badass!
God, he's so fucking cool.
Back with Broski, he explains to Puffy that in the future he made a time machine with a powerful generator alongside getting 500 subscribers. This plot point doesn't make any sense. There's no justification for how real-world subscribers power his time machine. Maybe in-world you could justify subscribers somehow powering it in the apocalyptic future if YouTube was still around, but now he has returned to the past. How the fuck do subscribers still power the machine? He says when he hits 1,000 subscribers, he'll be able to use the time machine again. Fuck you. Whoever wrote this was a dumbass. Wait. Anyway, Johnny pulls up with a piece, demanding Broski hands over Puffy. Broski finally has to get confrontational with his past self. He commands Johnny to turn back, but he isn't having any of it. Johnny fires at him, and this is when we get the biggest arse pull in all of fiction.
Don't make me say it twice.
What in the actual fuck?
Broski Platinum!
I love it so much.
Man, I cannot wait to see his return in the Random Baseplate reboot.
No, hold on. Stands aren't going to be in a Random Baseplate reboot. We scrapped them in favor of doing something original.
What the fuck?
Right, so of course this was around the time I was popular on YouTube for making a Bizarre Day content. A Roblox game based on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, featuring stands. These ghost-like manifestations of your soul. So it only made sense to include one in the story. At least that's what I thought at the time. I realized this inclusion was weird as fuck now, but it is what it is. And in classic JoJo fashion, Broski delivers a beatdown on Johnny using his self-titled Broski Platinum. This is probably one of the most iconic moments from a Random Baseplate. It's only downhill from here. Also, I have to add in the 1,000 subscriber special, I bass boosted the hell out of the sound Johnny makes as he gets the shit beaten out of him. I do not recommend watching this for that alone. Although I will say the sound I made was a display of skill. I remember putting my back up against the wall and punching myself. The method acting was impressive. Following this, Broski hits a sick-ass pose and Johnny recreates a meme I saw on Reddit one time. And then he hits a button he was holding and... Is that the fucking Among Us sound effect? Anyway, Johnny has the strength and the balls to pull a gun on the guy that just fractured half the bones in his body. He yaps on about how now, thanks to pressing the button, Plan X is now in motion, and Puffy takes this moment to jump away and ride off on a motorcycle we only hear a sound effect for. Also, sorry I keep cutting off the video, but how in the flying fuck would Puffy drive a motorcycle? Probably best it stays off screen. Defeated by Puffy's abandonment, Johnny flops to the floor. Broski waffles on about remembering Plan X being a contingency plan Puffy had set up. He comforts Johnny and he quickly switches up. The episode ends with Johnny saying he's coming with Broski to follow some robots they saw heading towards the city, which are also seen off screen. And that is a Random Baseplate 4 Part 1, also known as a Random Baseplate The Finale Part 1. You see, originally a Random Baseplate was meant to end here, but my friend Solnug, who was animating all of this, couldn't finish it in time, so we decided to save the other half for 10,000 subscribers and make something much bigger out of it. So far, Random Baseplate has been incredibly weird with lackluster animation and a terribly thought out story. But I'll save my opinions on the complete package when we get onto the final part. Although before that, it's time for a quick detour. Okay, so between the release of a Random Baseplate 4 Part 1 and a Random Baseplate 4 Part 2, Halloween rolled around. Now you see, I'm a very sentimental guy. I like putting things out to celebrate different holidays, as you'll soon see, and Halloween was coming. Of course, this was the year of mass lockdown, so Halloween was effectively cancelled, globally. But I, Piggo RBLX, had the courage to stand up in a tough time. So I decided to make the next animation about Broski going on some trick-or-treating shenanigans. This short starts with a weird green screen broski in my real life bedroom at the time, commenting on how it's that time of year again. He takes a look outside, sees a bunch of kids trick-or-treating, so he takes it upon himself to get changed and join in. First house he pulls up to is an obligatory JoJo-related joke where Kuryou goes on his usual spiel, although broski has the foresight to slam the door on his face. From there, the episode just follows broski going door-to-door interacting with the various citizens of wherever the fuck this is. Hey, there's even a little ARB reference where broski goes to Johnny's house and wastes Puffy. This entire episode is just one gag after another.
Trick or... Oh god, no.
With the final one being broski encountering some hillbillies that were actually characters of my good chum Sonug, who was still animating everything you see. Anyway, broski somehow tanks a shotgun and recounts how terrible this Halloween has been. But wait, hey! There's a single Snickers bar at the bottom of his basket! Guess it wasn't all bad. Actually, turns out Kira planted it there and turned the Snickers bar into a bomb which blows broski the fuck up. Happy Halloween.
I always felt so bad for him. That was my undisputed GOAT!
He didn't deserve that.
Guys, come the fuck on. This shit isn't real.
You tell me it's not based on a true story?
What kind of fucking street you think I live on? So now we have a little time skip on our hands. You see, between the release of the Halloween special and the final part of a random baseplate, I hit 10,000 subscribers. A monumental accomplishment. Now, the day of, I celebrated this by releasing Cooking with Piggo, an infamous special old fans love for whatever reason.
Someone help, I've turned into an egg. Oh my god, no. Very nice. Oh, my skin.
But around 2 weeks later, it was finally ready. A Random Baseplate, the movie. A video compiling the original parts of a Random Baseplate with the final new ending half, which is longer than all the previous ones combined. I'm not really going to go into the first half of a Random Baseplate the movie, considering it's just the first few parts again. To be fair, the visuals have been downgraded, since to add the earlier parts into this, I downloaded them in 360p for some ungodly reason. Besides that, the only notable changes are making the Johnny beatdown bearable, adding this extra shot of the puffy robots they mentioned seeing, and the additions where I added the score that was made for this final part. That's right, I would like you all to meet Funtime Webb. Nowadays he goes by Spagdev, and he's the man responsible for all of the Piggo music we'll be discussing in the short films from now on. So, without further ado, let's get into a Random Baseplate 4 Part 2. This part starts with a horribly janky shot over a city I recorded while flying around in Roblox Studio. We then have broski and Johnny walking down the street together, which is when broski goes into cardiac arrest, apparently. Turns out his automatic mind updates are still ticking and Puffy's takeover of the world is now imminent. Yeah, if it wasn't obvious by now, Puffy's end goal is to take over the world with her giant penguin robots. Broski dashes off and we fade to Puffy in some hideout where she presses a button, causing a terribly tracked and chroma keyed countdown to begin. And this is where we get one of the best classic ARB moments. Broski and Johnny need to ask around for some clues, but Broski wants to keep himself on the low, so he requests Johnny to come up with some distraction so he can enter the bar low profile. Johnny bashes in and questions,
Did somebody order a pizza?
why did he do this? Why did broski let it slide? If anything, it just draws more attention towards them. Okay, fine, whatever. From there, broski enters the bar and takes a seat by the bartender where they exchange this hilarious conversation.
Why the long face?
Is it really?
Broski reveals he's looking for a penguin, and Jim the bartender sets his guys on him. Reasonable reaction to some bold prick looking for a penguin. A shitty bar fight ensues where Johnny comes in with a flying kick and saves Broski. However, this concludes with one of the gunmen getting in and feeding Broski a rokakaka fruit, and falling unconscious. For those who don't know, on a bizarre day, if you have a stand, eating one of these fruits removes your stand ability. This isn't how it works in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when they're introduced to the series, as far as I'm aware. I haven't finished part 7. But in a bizarre day, that's how they work. So I sort of just used the game mechanic here, since the viewers of my channel would understand the connection. For some reason, eating this roka knocks the fuck out of broski, and he wakes up to a face full of Johnny. He realizes he has lost broski platinum, and in a total all hope is lost moment, a missile rises from the ocean and Puffy broadcasts herself live for the whole city to see. Why the fuck does she look like that? For this bit, my good chum nowadays, but a former acquaintance in 2020, Micah D's messaged me asking if he could animate something for a random baseplate, so I delegated this beautiful scene for him to do. He was much younger at the time, so don't treat this animation too harshly. But my biggest question is, why the fuck is this just hand-drawn now? Did Puffy commission Micah in-universe to make this animation for our broadcast? Let me know your fan theories down below. Puffy basically just says everyone is now under her control, and the man that made her do this is Broski. And yep, this is the only time Broski's name is ever stated in a random baseplate, besides inferring his name as Broski from Broski Platinum.
Broski Platinum!
Stop. I don't understand why Puffy name drops Broski in this announcement. Is this trying to be like when Mysterio doxes Spider-Man? Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I haven't seen that movie. God, I'm sleeping on my media intake. But hey, that means more room for Piggo short films. Anyway, Johnny hits us with this marvelous quote.
Tell me about it. A penguin's planning to send a nuclear warhead into a city. What a day.
Broski proclaims he knows where to find her and they dash off to her not-so-secret hideout. This plays out.
Let me try it. No. Step aside. Ah!
And Broski chases Puffy down through a ventilation system. This film has 2020 written all over it. But oops! Broski falls down a hatch and lands on a train line in a tunnel. And once again, Johnny blesses us with another marvelous quip.
Do you hear something?
Probably just a flock of geese.
And then Broski gets flattened by a train, and that's the end of a random baseplate. If this shit actually had logic, because alongside Subway Surfers music, Broski manages to outrun a steam train. This was basically the OG brain rot. But Broski somehow manages to escape, and Johnny's waiting for him in the van from earlier, which I guess they must have just been keeping nearby. And how did Johnny get here so fast? Johnny's a speedster confirmed? From there, we follow Broski and Johnny into the city, and oh dear. We have a bunch of Puffy robots ravaging the streets, but fortunately, the team catches onto Puffy and spots her on a nearby rooftop. A rooftop where she has a stand arrow? Oh great, this means Puffy's gonna get a stand. What the fuck are you gonna call that one? Puffy's what?
Puffy's World!
You gotta be fucking kidding me. On the way to the rooftop, the guys get caught up on a stair fight where they dispose of the guys in about 5 seconds. Also, this is the only time Broski uses his katana in the entire film. Why he bothered carrying it on his side while he had a stand is beyond me. When they get to the rooftop, Puffy is finally confronted. But oh, fuck! She used a stand arrow? Surely that would have killed her. The arrow is like twice the size of her. So, I divert your attention to this funny fan comic from back in the day. Thank you, Freshie. But yeah, shit's dire now. Broski gets decimated by Puffy and launched to the other side of the street into one of Puffy's giant robots. And just before Puffy can finish the job, we hear the saving grace.
Take this, Puffy!
Johnny throws a frying pan at Puffy. Yeah, that'll show her. And this is where we learn, just like the villain from a certain other franchise, Puffy has the ability to stop time using her stand. She goes on a little monologue about how because Johnny didn't want to conquer the world with her, that was the ultimate betrayal. Puffy, what the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, from there, she kills him. No, I'm serious. She gives him the old Kakyoin treatment. Rest up, Johnny. You shall be missed. And now with Johnny out of the picture, it should erase Broski from the timeline. Truly hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. So, why hasn't he been erased yet? I'm not sure. So, let's see how the fight goes. Oh, how convenient. The stand arrow is laying right next to Broski now. Broski explains when Johnny threw the pan, he put the stand arrow inside of it so it could land near Broski. Despite the fact the arrow is like double the size of the frying pan. Is Puffy blind? How'd she miss the giant arrow next to the frying pan? Puffy, now appearing behind Broski, taunts him, though Broski quickly uses this moment to stab himself with the arrow in hopes of regaining a stand. Somehow, this causes the head of the Puffy robot to fucking explode. But hey, looks like he got Broski Platinum back. Broski then wallops Puffy. And suddenly, where the fuck? Wait, there.
You're in a random baseplate.
Oh my god! Best film I've ever seen!
Broski explains Johnny threw him the arrow, and from that arrow he has developed an evolved form of Broski Platinum, which has control over space-time. Sorry? Space and time? No limitations? 2020 Piggo! What the fuck were you smoking when you came up with this? Actually, I can tell you! I wanted to make Broski the strongest character in all of fiction. Having complete control of space and time, I felt implied he had control of time alongside with space, with the ability to dimension hop and teleport. I mean, he even goes back and saves Johnny from dying, which similarly is way too overpowered. He saved himself from death. That's so busted, and barely any of the implications are explored here. The fight between Broski and Puffy goes down like this. Puffy calls Broski a tard, Puffy stops time, Broski teleports through that stop time, they have a barrage off, Broski wins it and cracks ahead of Puffy's world, and then charges a fucking Kamehameha, and then starts teleporting around the place and plays volleyball with Puffy, ending with knocking her into the ground and presumably killing her. Damn! After this, we see all the Puffy robots shutting down, implying they will no longer function and the rocket launch has been cancelled. Broski grabs Johnny and together they celebrate their victory!
We did it!
We did it!
We
We
did
did
it!
it!
We did it! We actually did it!
We did it! We did it! We did it!
Puffy!
Yes! Yes!
After that, they say their goodbyes and Broski takes the time machine they seemingly restored back to the future. Johnny says,
Take it easy, stranger.
and just like that, A Random Baseplate the movie is concluded. Actually, as it stands, the title of the video is old, A Random Baseplate Legacy 2020. When I came back to YouTube and mentioned A Random Baseplate in my videos, I was scared this is what people would think I meant. And I mean, it technically is, but this is nothing like what the reboot is gonna be in the slightest. A Random Baseplate the movie is ridiculous, but at the core, there's a lot of heart. It was a celebration that came from an overly passionate 14-year-old that wanted to create something awesome. He wanted to make a fun story and celebrate his career as a content creator. And somehow, there was hype behind this. A lot of people were really excited for A Random Baseplate when it came out, and it stood the test of time. In my community, people still joke about Random Baseplate. The characters, the plot. These 21 minutes helped shape the course of my channel and my life somehow. I'm sure we'll get back to A Random Baseplate later on because it truly is the most impactful film out of all of the ones we'll be looking at today. But with the longest running series on my channel so far complete, what's next for the Piggo animated short films? Well, that would be... This special came out mere weeks after A Random Baseplate 2020. Pretty impressive I managed to whip this one together in such a short amount of time. I mean, it kinda reflects in the quality of it, but it's not too bad. And like I said before, I'm a sentimental guy. How could I not do something to celebrate Christmas, especially after my biggest year on YouTube yet? This short starts with a cozy opening sequence where I explain the history of my channel and everything that has led up to this point. We even see a frame picture of the video that started it all in 2020, alongside a frame photo of Broski and Johnny. I'm sure that won't be important later. We get to Broski and he's yapping on about his YouTube channel and the problem he's facing at the moment. Burnout. He's not enjoying making content anymore. He essentially just feels he's pumping out slop for the sake of it. Wow, I predicted my 2021 before it even began. Broski just wishes that with Christmas tomorrow, everything could just sort itself out magically overnight. And with that, he's off to bed. However, he wakes up to a bunch of Discord notifications and upon checking his channel, it's somehow been deleted. And suddenly...
What? Oh! How did you get into my house?
Okay, so Broski gets haunted by a character I used to have on the channel called Jeff, who was basically my version of Cardboard Silver, for those who get that reference.
More like Splatoon 1.5.6.7894550. You've been watching too much Nathaniel Bandy.
Hold up. Ain't you Nathaniel B?
Just a little buddy that appeared in a couple of my old videos for comic relief. But here he explains 3 spirits will come visit Broski tonight. The spirits of channel past, present, and future. And with that, he disappears. Broski seeks refuge under the covers, but...
This can't be real. Hello, John.
Right, so my old pig plushie Porky is here to represent the spirit of channel past. Porky was originally a big part of my channel, but in 2017 I was embarrassed by my old videos, so I deleted over 200. Heartbreaking, looking back, but all I can do now is thug it out. Although, Porky was featured heavily in these deleted videos, so I thought he was a fitting representation for the past. Anyway, Porky takes me to visit memories from the past. We even see Johnny making a stop motion video, which is something I used to do on the channel. From this, Broski remembers the joy he used to get in creating content, even if it wasn't a success. After this, my pal, the superior Zek420 pops up. At the time, I thought he'd be funny to include as he was one of my close friends, and he showed me the current state of my channel, in a state of creating slop, even if it performs well. He reminds me I should be driven by passion, and if I keep going down this path, then...
your channel will be dead. In the ground, and possibly you along with it.
Wait,
And now with the first 2 spirits out of the way, it's time for the spirit of channel future.
Stay back! Stay back! I'm warning you! No, I've had enough with spirits tonight. Get out! Stay away! Ah! No!
Broski gets thrust into a cold forest as the spirit directs him towards a gravestone. But before he checks it out, he still has time for one hilarious callback.
Dear God, nothing can be worse than getting sent to hospital because of an exploding Snickers bar. Right.
He pushes the snow covering his name away and...
Death! Why death? All I've done is make some mediocre content.
The floor then drops Broski underneath it, sending him falling to his doom. This is also when the Reaper is revealed to be... Sans, apparently. I don't know either. But before Broski succumbs to his fate, we get a genuinely decent match cut to Broski landing on his bed. He wakes up excited to be alive as he realizes it's Christmas! He walks into his living room and acknowledges the fact that he's okay with this. His channel is gone, but he made amazing memories, and at the end of the day, that's the most important part. But wait! He doesn't remember this present being here. It seems Jeff from earlier left him a little present. A channel restore button, which Broski hits and his channel is back up and running. But this time, things are gonna be different. He's gonna learn to care. Albeit, 2021 I did make a bunch of slop, but I eventually got my act together, so all's well that ends well. Apart from the weird-ass Christmas remix that plays during the credits. Well, looks like it's that time for another seasonal special. It's Easter! The gap between the Christmas special and Piggo and the Golden Eggs has actually been the biggest gap between Piggo shorts so far. So, let's see how Piggo and the Golden Eggs plays out, shall we? The short starts with Broski waking up. Wait, Broski? But the short is called Piggo and the Golden Eggs. No wonder people always say Broski is called Piggo. Oh, whatever. He wakes up and is immediately ecstatic about it being Easter. So much so he phases through the wall and comes back in wearing bunny ears. He spends this opening calling his good chums and pinging his Discord server, just to make sure everyone knows this is in fact Easter. Hey, he even blows up a little kid with a rocket launcher because he doesn't know it's Easter today. Wait, he did that? Broski, what the fuck is wrong with you? He then overhears a voice of someone saying they hate Easter before getting shot with a tranquilizer dart. What a great start to the day. Sometime later, he wakes up in a bizarre Easter field.
Oh my god, I animated this!
No wonder it looks so shit. Sorry. From the sky, a disembodied voice speaks to Broski and threatens to destroy Easter if he doesn't listen to him. The voice commands Broski to locate 3 golden eggs for him in the next hour.
Shut up, you bipedal swine. If you fail to listen, there'll be no more Easter.
You monster!
Listen very carefully to what I'm about to say.
Now would be a good time to mention the Sky voice is voiced by an old Criminality YouTuber I was friends with at the time. I did have a script written, but he ended up ad-libbing nearly every single line, but they were all so hilarious I just ended up using them. Give it up for TZZV! Woo! So, TZZV, how was your time ad-libbing for Piggo and the Golden Eggs?
It was horrible. I hated it. I hate you. Never call me again.
Oh. Anyways, from there, with a mission, Broski sets off to locate the first golden egg. The first is in a tree. He cuts down the tree to build a ladder. Wait, if he had an axe, why didn't he just cut down the tree with the golden egg in it? A lot of the stupid callouts I've been making about logic in these things I've thought of before, but this is the first time I've questioned this one. Is Broski stupid? Anyway, he manages to get the egg. Next up, he's face to face with a power generator, keeping a force field around one of the golden eggs. He tries shooting the power generator with a gun. Wait! Is that Broski Platinum? What are you doing here? Anyway, Broski eventually has a realization. He's British, not American. So he switches up using a gun for throwing a knife and wham! Perfect shot. 2 golden eggs down, 1 to go. Broski rocks up to this random bridge and damn, the animation quality just had a glow up. In my old shorts, I had so many animators on them. Basically anyone that would be down, but at least for these old ones, Maxi Drought was always a mainstay. He cooked with his animations, at least in comparison to the quality of everything else. It's why certain scenes go to an impressive quality while others look like they were animated by a 5-year-old. Not to diss any of the animators, I love all of you, but I'm a big enough man to admit some of the animation in these shorts fucking sucks. Especially any of the scenes I animated myself. If you ever see an animation in one of my shorts that looks like it was animated by someone having a stroke, yeah, that was probably 14-year-old me. Across the bridge, Broski sees the final golden egg. So he dashes across it, but oh wait! How convenient, the bridge collapses underneath him. Thinking fast, he throws his golden eggs up onto the cliff before letting himself go, because apparently he can just tank a fool into a deep canyon. Upon waking up, he's greeted again by the Sky voice that sent him on this mission. The voice proclaims Broski fell right into his trap, and then crashes the fuck out.
Silence, you men! I shall not have myself be ridiculed by the everyday common man.
The voice reveals his master plan to take the 2 golden eggs Broski has collected and kill him. And then we have this marvelous scene play out.
I feel it's finally time to show my true identity. What? What are you laughing at?
Broski laughs his ass off when he realizes the Sky Voice is a giant chicken. Actually, this chicken is ripped from an old Roblox shitpost game I made in 2020 called The Chicken of Hell. The game sees you stuck in some arena being chased eternally by a demon chicken called Edward. From here, Edward continues his justified crash out.
Eggs! Give me the 3 eggs that you just have on your person at all times conveniently for the plot. I want it now. Give me the eggs.
Well, that would be great and all if the eggs weren't both at the top of this canyon.
No, what? No, it's not. What? Why is it up there? What the fuck's wrong with you? Why'd you put it there? Alright, well, you've officially pissed me off. I'm gonna go get those fucking eggs myself, and you're gonna stay down here while I come back and come down to kill you again. So keep put, and I'll be back in a jiffy.
But of course, our goat Broski could never take such disrespect. So, with the help of his trusty underused katana, he scales up a cliff face and stops Edward from using the golden eggs to create some type of portal. Edward warps the land around them, revealing they've been in this arena the entire time. Or something. Don't ask me about how that logic works. After playing Ring Around the Rosies, Broski eventually gets the wonderful idea of duking Edward like a matador, leading Edward to fall to his doom.
I'm going to get turned into a chicken sandwich.
From there, Broski uses the golden eggs to return to his humble abode as we see him enjoying a delicious hot cross bun, which concludes Piggo and the golden eggs. Not a god-awful one, actually. It has some genuinely funny moments, mostly down to TZZV ad-libbing the lines for Edward, though. Now, something you may have noticed is how fucking weird these stories are. I mean, a random baseplate was pretty consistent, but now we're doing a Christmas carol and being sent on an Easter adventure? How the hell does this tie in together? Well, that's all explained in Project Reset, one of the seemingly most out-of-place Piggo short films. Yet, it's actually one of the most important for understanding the greater narrative. The description specifies this one is a sequel to A Random Baseplate 2020. Interesting. This short starts in some sort of complex with armed guards. We cut inside an interrogation room where Broski is strapped down by some mysterious men. Wow. Wonder where I've seen this one before. Hold on. Are we in the set from Project Reset? They show him pictures they've gathered of Broski in the past. Hey, I told you that'd be important later. Apparently, these guys had a team raid Broski's house looking for information on him. This all started when a bartender named Jim sent these guys footage of Broski knocking a man away in a bar. This organization name drops it as being a stand, and Broski is shocked they know about stands. Broski also lore drops that after using the time machine to return home, he lost Broski Platinum. Broski tries to play dumb, saying he hasn't heard of a stand. Then they give him 2 options, to either confess everything he knows to them or to be sent to work in an innovation facility. Yeah, that innovation. Why did I try to tie this old Roblox group into the channel lore? I don't know. I guess I thought it would be cool. Anyway, they give Broski some injection which knocks him out as we fade to black. We fade back in and... what did they do to you? Broski is shaken, beaten and bruised, covered in cuts. God damn! Some guard rocks up and collects Broski from his cell. He walks down the hallway and have a little back and forth. The guard asks what he's in for and Broski says, "For saving the world from becoming a burning hellscape." Calm down, Batman. I'm half expecting him to be saying this perching off a rooftop. The guard explains to Broski today they're going to be getting him to help test this portal. He also explains the portal isn't quite fully powered yet. They're going to have to wait because apparently using it without the backup power could lead to a universal collapse or some shit, as the guard puts it. From there, the guard gets a radio call from Gamma RBLX asking him to get to the core for an emergency. He then leaves Broski in a room alone with an unstable portal. And of course,
I'm gonna touch everything.
He touches everything. He activates the portal by spamming a bunch of buttons on the control panel. This apparently puts the core into an even worse state and sends the facility into meltdown. Some guards bash on the doors to the portal room asking Broski what he was thinking. Broski hits them with, "This is what you get. You unknowing Puffy agents make me sick," implying this was the same organization the gunmen helping Puffy came from. How did Broski know this? I don't know, but whatever. Guess he just presumed. You know, that's pretty rude nowadays, man. But this is when we get the glorious line. "Who's Puffy?" An instant classic. From there, the reactor explodes, killing off the guard from earlier. A bridge extends towards the portal. Broski takes a final look back and jumps through it, narrowly avoiding the core's explosion. And that marks the end of Project Reset, if you're watching the remake. You see, the one we just discussed is a remake of a short film I dropped titled The Roblox Portal. That original one came out way before the Easter special. The opening scene is mostly the same, the lighting was just made darker in the new one. Although we kind of fucked up the projections on the whiteboard because in the new one you can hardly see them. To be honest, this earlier one had the better opening animation because you can actually see what's happening. Project Reset has all of the scenes so dark you can barely make out anything on screen. The main difference with the Roblox Portal is that a large majority of it was recorded in-game. Honestly, honestly, I kinda like the Roblox portal a little bit more because it's been put together much better.
Damn it, what am I doing? Damn it, what am I doing? That isn't good.
At least in comparison. Although the Roblox portal is archived because the story is completely different when Broski jumps through the portal, because at the time I wanted to take the Piggo lore in a different direction. I guess I was just throwing ideas at the wall to see what stuck. Now, I could explain what the hell just happened in Project Reset, or I could allow the next short film to explain it for us. A short film I've been dreading because explaining it is going to be a nightmare. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you... Before we jump into Criminality, the random roundup, you're gonna need some background, because otherwise none of this is gonna make any sense. In late 2020, after dropping the masterpiece that was a random Baseplate the movie, soon after I made 2 videos on a little Roblox game known as Criminality. The first part was a fun little gameplay video with my friends, and one I still look back on fondly, because I had quite a lot of fun recording it. But little did I know how making this video was setting up my 2021 on YouTube. From 2020 to 2021, I made 17 Criminality YouTube videos. That's 17 too many. But the thing is, if you know me, you know I can't keep things simple. So, at some point during my time making Criminality videos, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take all of my videos playing Criminality and combine them. Combine all their various storylines and forge them into one complete narrative. All of these various storylines combine and collide in Criminality the Random Roundup. Fitting title, I'd say. Did I mention Criminality the Random Roundup not only combines all of my Criminality videos into one storyline, but involves all of my other short films too? Yeah, you best buckle your seatbelt so you don't go flying through the windshield. Criminality the Random Roundup starts off with a low-key, kinda badass title sequence, although the narration kills it for me.
From my time being here, I've learned that and have taken it upon myself to adapt and survive. It's definitely got the best in me.
Why the hell did it sound like I recorded this with a cold? Oh, because I actually had a cold. Then why the fuck did I record such an important bit of dialogue while I was ill? Whatever. The description says Criminality the Random Roundup was made in 2 weeks. Impressive. Guess I had to sacrifice the opening title to get it out in such a short amount of time. But what does this opening title speech actually explain? Well, it's from the perspective of Broski. He opens up by explaining in this world, thousands of innocents are murdered in cold blood. The only way to survive is to become a killer yourself. Broski explains from his time surviving in this presumably prison sector, just like the one in Escape from New York. Fire movie, by the way. It's literally just Criminality meets Solid Snake.
Call me Snake.
Anyway, living here, Broski has taken it upon himself to adapt and survive, but it's taken the best of him. Broski lore drops that he isn't originally from this place. In fact, he's from another timeline. After jumping through the portal in Project Reset, Broski remembers waking up here in a dumpster, but since he has lost his sanity. He then goes over everything that's happened to him since he arrived in this sector. These things being, he regained Broski Platinum, or at least unique to this timeline version. He fought a chicken in the depths of hell itself. Now, yes, this is referring to the Easter special, but it's important to note the events of the Easter special happened in multiple timelines. The video we watched isn't exactly how it played out in the Criminality timeline, however, but we never see how it specifically played out either, so use your imagination. Anyway, Broski drops the bombshell. Edward is back, now in a possessed human form. The human he possessed being Pies Are Good for Hell, another Crim YouTuber I used to know who is still making Criminality content to this day. Broski mentions his gang hates him after apparently he went Balkan Rage crash out mode and killed a bunch of the members for seemingly no reason. He says things may be bad, but you have to survive. And with that, we're thrown into the meat of it. The cinematic summer blockbuster event of the year starts with Broski meeting up with an old friend of his. Solnog was someone who recruited Broski into his gang back in my first Criminality video. It seems he's called Broski here for a meeting of some kind. Yes, the animator of the early parts of a random Baseplate is a character here now. He also animated this scene. It's been 6 months since they've last seen each other, Solnog implies, with his fucking abysmal microphone.
Broski, glad to see you. Oh, what's been that, like 6 months?
Turns out I wasn't the only one who had a recording that sounded like shit in this episode. Good to know the quality control was on the top of its game. I think Solnog's microphone was broken and he recorded these lines with his phone, but what the fuck is that popping sound?
So, how's the gang?
Whatever, it's done and dusted. Broski takes a seat next to him and Solnog handcuffs him after a bit of back and forth. Broski tweaks the fuck out as a trollage mask glitches onto his face. Apparently the trollage head in this is supposed to represent Broski's loss of sanity. I make a funny quip here, but the jokes kinda write themselves. We get a shot of Broski's thighs as Solnog explains he never cared for friends, and then Broski questions what about the friends from the first Criminality video? And apparently it's revealed Broski hallucinated all of it. So Solnog explains what really went down. Apparently, Broski was unconscious, then woke up. Solnug and Broski went to vibe check, and Solnug was attacked by a guy in a green combat suit. Broski was hiding and helped Solnug back up. Then they both went down into vibe check for some fucking reason, and they were jumped down there. Broski was down by some guys, but Solnug managed to save him. Anyway, from there, Solnug drops that he wants to own Broski's gang. He calls Broski a failure and proceeds to explain why. He says before he sent Broski on a job to kill a man named Malone, but on his way there, Broski was attacked by some random guy, which is also when Broski Platinum in this timeline was manifested. From there, Broski abandoned Solnug and formed a gang with the purpose of taking control of Sector 07. However, the way Broski went about this was by mass murdering anyone who refused to join their cause. From there, I guess Broski got a taste for blood because he soon went around blowing people up with an RPG. Broski couldn't even control members of his own gang. One of the higher-ups poisoned the gang's meals, which wiped half of them out. That's the moment Broski truly cracked. Solnug says Broski is no better than the killing machine he set his men on to kill. People called it the Terminator. Solnug says he's starting to doubt if Broski is even human. Broski explains he's right, and that he isn't even from here. He says he's lost everything he's ever cared about having to live in this timeline. We have a quick callback to a random Baseplate 2020 as Solnug sets a laser on Broski, which is when they're cut off. The fucking Terminator busts into the room, mows down Solnug, and tells Broski to come with him if he wants to live. Right. So, if you weren't following, that scene was mostly an exposition dump, which explains how all of the different Criminality videos culminate in this one. And look, I want to level with you. I don't know if I have it in me to keep detailing this story so much. It's about to take up as much of this video as all of a random Baseplate has, so I need to try and blitz through this story. If you truly want the Criminality the Random Roundup experience, feel free to watch it yourself. But now, it's time for some bullet points. The Terminator explains to Broski he's a Terminator sent in from another timeline by another version of Broski to protect this Broski. Apparently, when Broski jumped through the portal in Project Reset, it split Broski's consciousness between hundreds of alternate timelines, but one of the Broskis seems to know about this and has dedicated their life to protecting other versions of himself. The Terminator drops he was sent to protect him from some old gang members of his who left and betrayed him. Yoda Slastic and the Superior Zek 420. Yeah, the guy from the Christmas special. Then, the Terminator drops.
The chicken is still alive, Broski.
What? No! He can't be. He fell into that pool of lava.
That was a false reality created by the chicken. Nothing of that was real.
Okay, Loki? This moment actually goes incredibly hard. Apparently, a random gang is going to get attacked tonight by Yoda's gang, but they're also worried about Edward, but apparently he'll be at Vibin Rooftop tonight, so they go to intercept him. Edward is there, voiced by Pies Are Good for Health. The Terminator tanks an RPG for Broski, which makes Broski crash out and smack Edward off the roof with a shovel. Broski in the morning gets jumped by Yoda Slastic's gang, but turns out he's saved by the Christmas Massacre gang, an old gang Broski used to run with before a random gang. Broski now at night for some reason gets to confront the Terminator, who fucking dies. Okay, rest up, bro. Broski then stomps Edward to death. Now the Christmas Massacre gang alongside Broski are seeking refuge as they discuss what's next. But before they can do that, the Doomslayer breaks the fucking door down and kills the Christmas Massacre gang. We were just introduced to them. Whatever. The Doomslayer runs out of shells for Broski and he runs away. He manages to escape, calls up a random gang, apologizes for killing some of the members, and they take him back. Are you fucking serious? Why are they so fast to switch up over a basic apology? Okay, whatever. They devise a plan to go down to Vibe Check and mow the Doomslayer down when they come down. Okay, cool. They prepare and fire when the elevator pulls down. Oops, that's not the Doomslayer. That's Superior Zek 420. Well, whatever. They kill him anyway since he's an op and the elevator gets pulled back up. At the top, we hear everyone gets slaughtered and the elevator starts falling back down again. The Doomslayer rushes in and manages to kill every single person apart from Broski, who evacuates deeper into Vibe Check. Broski and the Doomslayer fight. Broski uses Broski Platinum to trump him and Broski wins. How many times did I say Broski in that sentence? Broski pulls the helmet off the Doomslayer where we learn... It's Malone? The guy from earlier? Actually, Malone was put into this short because I felt like it, but he was actually based on an old Roblox game I made. Although, that's another discussion for another day. We're hit with a genuinely fire track that captures the emotion of the bittersweet yet horrific ending we're intended to have. We have a post-credit scene where Solnug apologizes to Broski for some reason. He's forgiven. The goat tells is awesome, another crimtuber. Jumps out from behind a rock, waffles on about how nonsensical the plot was, and that was Criminality, the Random Roundup. What the fuck? I guess that's what happens when you try combining 17 videos together that never had any business being together in the first place.
Damn, I fucking love this one.
I fucking hate it. It's objectively abysmal.
I kinda like it.
Yeah, man.
I fuck with it.
What is wrong with you people? Right, Home Alone is next, and this is our final Piggo short film. We've come a long way from the 500 subscriber special to now, and this is certainly going to remain one of the longest analysis videos I make in my life as far as I believe. So, what gives Home Alone the right to be the last Piggo short film? Why did I end it after this one? All questions we'll find out after we look into Home Alone, a sequel to Trick or Treating from back in 2020. Let's begin. This short starts with Broski trick-or-treating. How sweet. It's just like last year. He seems like a real happy chappy too. He rings a doorbell and...
Aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating?
That's me! Broski gets hassled for trick-or-treating, and we see that goofy smile turn upside down. From there, we're sprung into a flashback from 1 year ago where we follow a trick-or-treater down the street, and hey! The trick-or-treaters in the scene are taken from the single screenshot in the first part. That's a pretty cool detail. Round the corner, the trick-or-treater spots Broski, and wouldn't you know it? As we've seen before, he's about to get blown the fuck up by Kuryou, except this time, the animation is a decent step up. From there, we get our title card. Home Alone. We fade back in through Broski's mouth as he's laying down on a stretcher with bandaged legs. Some fuck-ass doctor rocks up looking awfully similar to Broski. I'm sure he's not important to the overarching narrative. The doctor explains Broski will be fine and his legs will regenerate at midnight. Of course, Broski confused questions that, and the doctor explains this timeline isn't logic-based anyways. And with that, he wraps up this whole scene and drives off. But before the final doctors can depart, Broski requests a lift home and they give in. Kira stares at the ambulances, cackling to himself, and one of them just reverses into his house and crushes him. Well, rest in peace, Kuryou. As Broski questions why the ambulances are from America... What? Jean Malone? Jean Malone rises from the sewers, checks out the carnage, and stares towards where the ambulance was heading. Well then, I guess Jean Malone is back. Important to keep in mind though, this is a different timeline, so this isn't the same Jean that Broski killed in Criminality, the random Roundup. We fade into Broski resting at home, but just as he lays down, someone knocks at the front door. Who could it be? Broski pours out some pieces from a bag and constructs a wheelchair. What a handyman. He throws himself down the stairs and answers the door. As an audience, you may anticipate Jean Malone, but no. Seems it's these two random trick-or-treaters. They're of course here for Halloween, and with their costumes are attempting to spread allergy awareness because one of them has a peanut allergy. How sweet! So of course Broski offers him a Snickers bar. However, during this, on the roof, we see Jean Malone.
Serial killer who bragged about killing people.
Broski heads back upstairs, somehow jumping the entire flight of them. Wow, didn't know we could be so athletic in a wheelchair. Johnny Joestar has some serious competition. But before Broski can get his rest in, there's another group of trick-or-treaters. As Broski prepares to descend, Jean Malone checks him out through the upstairs window. I'm sure this will end well. Anyway, Broski answers the door to... Oh! That's a group of Friday Night Funkin' fans. Doesn't make the most sense considering this is meant to take place before the game blew up, but I mean, hey, this timeline isn't logic-based anyways. Broski throws the kid some rat poison, and with that, he's heading back upstairs. Oh, for fuck's sake. Another person at the door. This time, Broski seems to have gotten incredibly cold because his hands are shaking as he reaches out for the doorknob. What's this building up to? He opens the door and we get this scene. Wow! Piggo jump scare! I remember watching Home Alone with my mum when it came out, and this made her soul jump out of her body. Broski makes a quick escape upstairs and hits a button he has installed in case of emergencies, which turns the stairs into a slope and a full-on defense system, it seems. Broski makes a wheel for it towards his room and moves the desk to block the door. Jean Malone gives the door Jean shots. Broski spots a clock and realizes it's almost midnight, and that's when his legs will regenerate. He says goodbye to his apparently sentient wheelchair as he uses it to jump onto the roof like a sacrificial Yoshi. Broski quickly pulls himself up onto the roof of the building, but shortly followed by Jean Malone, who Broski calls her.
You really have to follow me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Just in the nick of time, Broski's legs start to regenerate and he kicks Jean Malone, sending him tumbling backwards, which gives Broski a moment to prepare his trusty katana he has only used a grand total of 3 times throughout these short films. With it, he slices the head off Jean Malone in a scene that shocked the nation, and all's well it ends well, right? Well, not quite, because the wheelchair is pissed off from its treatment earlier and collides with Broski at high speeds. This leads to the credit scene of Broski with his legs being blown up once again. And that's Home Alone, the final installment in the Piggo short films. A decent way to cap it off, and I actually animated a large majority of this one. Shocking, to say the least. For the final fight between Broski and Jean Malone, I stayed up till like 3 AM a few nights in a row to make sure it was ready to drop on Halloween. The things I do for you people. So, we've been through a lot today, but that is the end of the Piggo cinematic universe. Sort of. As mentioned in the opening to this video, the Piggo lore includes a full-length Game Boy Color adventure video game. This game is Piggo Tower of Doom, a Game Boy Color game developed by SpagDev and myself. This game is the ending to the Piggo lore. One which we will not be covering, most likely ever. Look, discussing Tower of Doom would take another hour, as demonstrated by my good buddy Micah, who has made an hour-long video discussing Tower of Doom. Now, I recommend playing Piggo Tower of Doom yourself if you want to check it out, because it honestly is a very novel game with some incredibly cool concepts, and by the end of it, shit goes full Undertale 4th wall breaky mode. It's a game you just gotta play if you want the true experience. And on the bright side, this video has filled you in on all the background you need to know before hopping in, so congrats! I will say, as of working on this video, a massive update is in the works for Tower of Doom. We're revising the story, cutscenes, gameplay, nearly everything. It's gonna make the first version of the game look like a beta. Though, I'm not sure if the update is gonna be out yet, so proceed with caution, but all the links you need will be down below. But with all of the short films covered and the obligatory Tower of Doom mention, that is the Piggo lore. And look, this bit isn't in the script, but these short films, they're shit. The quality is awful. They have core though, they have a soul. And I think that's what makes them so endearing. As I already said, we've come a long way from the 500 subscriber special. We've made merchandise, a plethora of music, short films, Roblox games, and even a Game Boy Color game I myself play on official hardware. These short films and surrounding media are one incredibly unique experience. A few people have literally grown up with it, which is crazy to say. I've made some childhoods with this storyline, as off the walls and hard to believe as it is. But yeah, that's the video. Edit this bit out, I'll come up with a better outro later. So, what did you think?
It was beautiful.
Alright, great! I presume I can go now.
Oh no. You're not going anywhere.
What is it you guys want from me? I've been trying my best, and hey, this is my longest video yet, and it's on your favorite Piggo subject. How could you want more?
We want the Kickstarter.
Excuse me?
We want the fucking Kickstarter, Piggo! You sexy bald bastard!
First of all, ow. Second of all, how am I supposed to do videos and a random baseplate? I want to make a random baseplate, probably more than you guys want me to. I have an amazing story I want to tell. One I've been developing for 4 years now. It sounds silly to be talking about a Roblox animated series like this, but it's true. This is my passion. It's... I'm not doing what I want to do with my life. I love making my videos. People love them. Other people who don't even know me. This past year I was supposed to be working on a random baseplate. Why did I throw it onto the back burner so quickly? What am I supposed to do? I need to keep going, right? I'm too far gone now. I just need to keep making videos and this is who I am. I'll forget the Kickstarter. It's too late. But why am I working on videos? Is it out of habit? I guess. I'm scared of losing my audience. I'm scared of losing everything I've built up this past year. I'm scared of change. But that's not a good enough reason to let my dreams pass me by. Even if it's a risk, I need to pursue what I want to do with my life. I will make a random baseplate. We'll get the Kickstarter out and go from there. This is my story I've worked so hard to craft, and I'll help people. And I'll do everything people said would be impossible! Thank you all so much.
I don't get it.
So, if you didn't pick up on it, I'm leaving! Not forever, God, don't worry, I'll return with the milk. But I will be off until I complete the Kickstarter for a Random Baseplate Episode 1. If you haven't picked up on it in this video yet, a Random Baseplate is going to be a 3-part animated Roblox series. Less comparable to the last guest, and more comparable to the quality of something like Spider-Verse. If Spider-Verse was made in Roblox Studio. It's not related to the old lore we just checked out, it's only very loosely based on the original Random Baseplate, but quality-wise, it's gonna be on another plane of reality. This video has gone on long enough, but I feel it's an amazing send-off to what has been one of the best years of my life. Thank you all so much for the love and support on my videos this past year. And I can assure you, a random baseplate will not disappoint. Please, if you haven't already, I urge you to join my Discord server to help support and keep up to date with a random baseplate. We're also opening up a Patreon for a random baseplate. There, I'll give you inside updates alongside exclusive looks at concept art, storyboards, music, all of that good stuff. If you go over to the Patreon right now, as of dropping this video, I've already put out a boatload of concept sketches and music to listen to. But there is a lot more to come and build up to what will be the Kickstarter, where we're probably going to need to raise around $15,000. This shit is no joke. This is a mission. So if you'd like to help support me, check out the Patreon. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. And, of course, Pig on.